Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna hide you for 1 second. What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another segment of UnlockNJHomes Live. And today I am so excited because our very special guest today is Shari Fitzpatrick, who is the original owner of Sharis Berries, which was the first successful chocolate-covered strawberry retailer in the entire country. She is now the current owner of the most very delicious phenomenon, Berried in Chocolate. Also author, public speaker, creative business innovator, and risk taker. Shari is a true entrepreneur who has been able to live through the ups and downs of being a business owner. And today we're going to go over what Shari's been up to and a little bit on her story and how she became the queen of chocolate-covered strawberries. So here we are. Let me add you to the stream. Hi, everyone. This is Shari.
Hey, I've been called the Queen Dipper or the Big Dipper, too. I've heard it all. Sounds good.
Multiple nicknames. I was watching a Michael Jordan documentary. How many nicknames does he have? Black Cat, greatest of all time, Air Jordan, etc.
Yes. Is that The Last Dance?
Yeah. And here
watching that. I'm a huge sports fan. I live for the NBA. My husband says he's a sports widow because I love my NBA.
I saw those amazing photos with DeMarcus Cousins. Was it Mitch Richmond, Doug Christie? I was a huge Lakers fan.
Guys.
We broke times.
Yes. Yeah. That picture, by the way, of DeMarcus was taken by Grant Napier. Wow. Grant Napier was, big upset earlier this month. And it was really difficult for big Kings fans like me to lose my Grant Napier over that, but it's just really difficult times right now.
It's been a rough
in
year
our country.
It's been a rough year for sports in general. Like, if we just take out the pandemic and everything, we just go into sports. Like, what was it? January 1st was David Stern. Then a little bit after that was Kobe Bryant. And it's just been, and then the pandemic hits. It's been absolutely crazy year. Let's just say I'm done with 2020. I don't know about you.
Yeah, we'll be able to tell our grandkids and that we survived it.
Well, speaking of 2020 and the pandemic, we should talk about how we met, actually.
That's crazy. So divine, huh?
Well, it's amazing because social media is one heck of a platform. It's absolutely incredible. We've been friends on Facebook, I think, for over maybe a year, maybe 2 years, and I've just been seeing your work, and it wasn't, I didn't think anything of it. And it was like Mother's Day, and I actually called up. I went online and maybe a week beforehand, and I actually sent an order on SharisBerries.com. Not realizing that they're actually a 1-800-Flowers company, and Cheryl's cookies, etc., all went in that same bundle. And I actually registered for what they call the quote passport, which was an extra $29.99 for the year. That was guaranteed shipping by Mother's Day. I paid an extra premium, and even after that, they're like, by the way, in order for you to get it by Mother's Day, you still got to pay us an extra $15.
Yeah, you didn't feel violated or anything, right?
I felt so violated. I was like, this is like I just kept on getting suckered to pay more money, but I was like, it's Mother's Day. I got to do what I got to do. It is what it is. We're in a pandemic. I'm not going to go out to Hallmark or the Godiva or something like that at this time, just because we're so crunched in, and, obviously at that particular point, nothing was open. So it just didn't really make any sense. But, long story short, come Saturday, when I was expecting the delivery, I never got any kind of notification. I reached out to the recipient at that time, and she was like, I didn't get anything, and I was like, well, there goes my surprise. The day later, I was like, what, maybe I'll just give it a day, maybe I'll just show up luckily on Mother's Day, and then, come Monday and Tuesday, nothing arrived, nothing showed up. I was going through the Facebook page, I noticed that it wasn't just me. It was literally pretty much anyone that ordered Mother's Day, and nobody got their gifts. Sharis Berries did it. The original, the current Sharis Berries, 1-800-Flowers, did an incredible job of disappointing quite a lot of people.
Yeah.
That led me to reaching out to you. Finally, I was like, look, Shari, we've been friends on social media for a long time. I actually, for whatever reason, didn't put two and two together, and that's when I remember at that particular point that you actually don't own the company anymore. And, a lot of things have changed. And obviously, unfortunately, while they're using your name, they're not representing your brand the way that that loving nature that you created when, you know, so many years ago.
Yeah,
And
it's heartbreaking.
it must be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bummer, and I apologize to people that get Shari's Berries and think that they're from me. And like, you know, with the social media, like you said, it's just like living in a fishbowl, and I'm easy to find, and we get thousands of Shari's Berries customer service contacts, you know, phone calls, emails, you know, it's something. And so I'm very familiar, and we're just trying to educate, you know, people one at a time. If you want the original, that you just got to move over to Berried in Chocolate to get from the original girl.
Well, unfortunately, that bad experience has led us to this, you know, to today. And, you know, unfortunately, it was a bad situation, but because of that bad situation, we became friends today, which is,
right,
you know, a blessing. You know, very
grateful.
Exactly. So let's ask. You know, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and, you know, just
all right.
You know, so just a quick question: how long ago? You know, how long has it been since you left Sharis Berries?
It's been over 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, in 1998, I originally went into a contract with a young entrepreneurial lawyer with the deal of a lifetime that contacted me to, you know, raise millions of dollars. And I was just a berry dipper from Southern Oregon. My business was in its 10th year, and I was overwhelmed because business was booming, and there was this new thing called the internet. And this lawyer was very tech-minded, so I went all in immediately without doing my due diligence. You know, I had started my business without any business education or experience, and I had no idea that something like that could ever happen. But over the next 10 years, as we grew the national expansion online, you know, different dominoes fell in our world. You know, the early 2000s in the .gone area, and our new board had approved our new CEO to raise a lot of money. And anyways, dominoes fell, and I fell below that 51% ownership, and the company was sold off at that time over 10 years ago to San Diego-based Pro Flowers. And then they failed with it, and they lost it to Chicago-based FTD, who is a public company, and their stocks were trading like at $34 a share when they acquired Shari's Berries. And a short time later, their stock was at 80 cents, and they went bankrupt. And then over this past summer, 1-800-Flowers and Chris McCann and Jim McCann, who I know well, acquired the company. And they were actually my first affiliate program. I came to New York and brought a bunch of berries and told them they needed to have my strawberries on their website at 1-800-Flowers out of New York there a million years ago. So in fact, Jim McCann endorsed my Berried in Chocolate book. He's on the back talking about, you know, being an entrepreneur. So, but anyways, it's still, unfortunately, it's just not even close to how it was when I created it. You know, I think when you send somebody a gift, you're not looking for the cheapest thing you can find. You want the best. You know, maybe you won't spend $50 on 12 strawberries for yourself, but you'll spend it on somebody else to let them know, you know, how much, you know, you're grateful or you're thankful or they mean to you. And so it's hard because it's completely opposite today at Shari's Berries, you know, because we have, you know, our original recipe, your berries are fresh dipped today and they're there tomorrow. I'm very particular about the strawberries we use. Every 3 weeks we're changing growers, and because that's how the strawberries, you know, we're not into year-long contracts where you have to take the little yellow or moldy berries, you know, and they're just fresh and they're big and thick, real chocolate on the outside. And we put a lot of TLC into them. And so you can get the original back again. Just got to go over to my new website.
So that's the real right there. Yeah. Not what you go 1-800-Flowers.com for.
Yes.
Really, that's just a name. That's just a shell. Hopefully that's the adopted stray child that just gone off on their own venture and just completely decided to do their own thing, unfortunately. And you know, I mean, it's unfortunate because, you know, the one thing that you and I have in common, and obviously you've been in this a lot longer than I have, but as a team leader and a business owner of UnlockNJHomes, you know, I mean, the one thing that we can, you know, any brand owner could say is that pride and love that they have for something that they created. You know, this business that we created, Sharis Berries initially for you, now Berried in Chocolate, UnlockNJHomes for myself. Our brands are everything. It's like, what's the difference between our brand and our child? You know, in a child, in the sense that, like, outside of physical growth itself, but the time and energy that we put into our businesses and all stuff to get to the point where we get to. And it's unfortunate that nobody's going to care about our businesses more than ourselves. And, you know, that's why it's really, really important to line yourself up with with people who really share the same values as you, because, you know, otherwise your business is going every kind of direction and unimaginable directions.
Yeah, I've learned a lot since then. You know, our mistakes aren't always so bad as long as we learn something from them. Exactly. And we are a living brand. You know, when I lost my company, I grieved it like I lost one of my sons. I have 3 sons, and, you know, I birthed it, I created it. I mean, I know God blessed it, but I didn't even know what I would do next, you know, and I had started taking my speaking more seriously, because after I lost the company, I got a book deal with Pelican Publishing. They published my book, and it was in every Barnes & Noble overnight nationwide in hardcover. It's beautiful. And I got to continue to be innovative and creative and follow my own advice as the importance of doing what you love to do. You know, life is short, and I just have always been very driven. And I've always realized the importance of, you know, when I became a Christian when I was a young mother and starting my business. And I'm grateful that when I was young, I learned the importance of having my priorities in the right order and putting my family always first. And, you know, we've got a whole lifetime to work, but we've got one shot to raise our kids, and because they do grow up and they're gone, you know. And so the most important things in life are what we can't see. Through all of my lessons, I've learned that, you know, that's important. You know, that 100%. Peace and joy and love and all of those things. And so, so my book was published, and then I'd always been kind of a public speaker as a way to market my strawberries, you know, at Chamber of Commerce meetings or Rotaries or at the university. And I was accepted into the National Speaking Association's Speaker Academy in San Francisco a few years ago. And in 11 months, they catapult your speak public to a professional level. And that's my new journey and my new passion. And I just love it. And now, you know, I just want to be a berry dipper. Now God's given me this big platform where thousands of people a year I get to motivate and inspire, you know, encourage people to follow their dreams, never give up. And and the secret to success and doing what you love, doing the best that you can, and, you know, taking pride in your work. And when you enjoy your work, it's not like you're really working.
Well, for sure. And I think I've realized that with my business as well, where it's like, you know, I work 7 days a week, and, you know, as a business owner, I'm assuming you're working 14 days a week, basically. Yeah. So, I mean, I get it 100%, because, you know, because if you really think about it like this, right? This business that we created, when we become the face of the brand or whatever it is, it's no longer just a business. Like, it's a lifestyle. You know, what we do on the outside when we're not working our business directly, you know, reflects our actual business itself in some ways and all that stuff. And that's really important. And that's something I've learned over time, that, you know, why, like, a lot of realtors, we got to be restrictive on, you know, publicizing our opinions on social media, because we don't want to alienate specific people, et cetera, et cetera. You know, that's just literally what it is. You know, we have to live a specific lifestyle. We have to, you know, project our businesses in a certain way. So this way, you know, people will continue to come back and see us for the services that we are trying to provide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do live and breathe it. And
100%.
It's okay, because, you know, and I've tried to, you know, analyze my being organized, and okay, on these days I'm working on personal stuff, and these days I'm working on business stuff, and it's just like, forget it. I love being organized and checking things off that list, and everything's just merged and everything complements each other. So I think that's a key to, you know, being efficient, and it just melts into your regular everyday world.
Well, they say luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So we got to make sure we're constantly prepared and organized. So whenever that opportunity does arise, we are able to take advantage of it in full stride.
Yep. Always have that business card on you. You never know, you're stuck in an elevator or somebody might be your next client, right?
Exactly. Like if I take a day off tomorrow, but I decide to go to the grocery store and I overhear this guy saying that he wants to sell, $1 million house, my working cap is going on immediately. So there goes my day off.
Yes. Yep.
All right. So, let's do me a favor. Let's tell us a little bit about yourself. I know I know you mentioned it earlier, but where are you originally from again?
I'm from a small town in Southern Oregon called Klamath Falls. And I'm fifth generation, graduated from the same high school my grandma did, little town. Met my husband there, been in love with the same man for 38 years. Never hear that. He says it feels like 40. But anyway, went for the funny guy. But my dad always had a big garden every year. It got real hot there in the summer, and it always included a strawberry patch for me. At some point, it became my job to go out and pick the strawberries, and that's where my love affair with strawberries began. I just love them. And when I got out of school, I moved to Los Angeles and worked for my brother's mortgage firm for 4.5 years there. Grew up real quick. I was 20, and that's where I was introduced to the concept of dipping my beloved berries in chocolate. My sister-in-law is an amazing cook and caterer, and so chocolate dipped strawberry gift baskets became my signature gift as I marketed mortgage loans to real estate agents in LA.
Wow.
And I loved it. And after 4.5 years there, I was a little homesick and wanted to get a little back up north. And so I moved to Reno, Nevada. I was there for 9 months and I became a stockbroker. I got my Series 6 and 7. I was the only, woman and female youngest broker in the office. And I always thought you had to have like a prestigious job title to have at that time in my young life have the definition of what I thought success was. I've always loved working with numbers, and I enjoyed a lot and I learned a lot through all of that, but I wasn't passionate about it. And I continued to serve my chocolate dipped strawberries when I taught financial classes to market my investment services. And one day I had my aha moment. Someone said, you can dip these strawberries in chocolate, but you're doing this stockbroker stuff. And it was like, wow, I started thinking, man, I could do something fun all day long for my business. And so I pretend like I quitted my job. I went into my broker and told him I was going to leave, and he asked me what I was going to do. And I told him I was going to start this strawberry thing. And he thought I was nuts and maybe I just needed some time off. So he said he'd see me in a week, take a week off. And I pretend like I left my job. And that Monday morning, I just woke up full of energy and started writing down ideas and a little business plan, how much I could sell them for, and took out baskets of berries to different car dealerships and people. And that's how it started. And I moved to Sacramento because that's where my boyfriend from Oregon had moved to. And if he was here with me today, he'd tell me, I was stalking him. But anyways, it worked out. I moved to Sacramento, got a $1,500 cash advance on a credit card, and just started pounding the pavement. I think I was brand new to the town. I didn't know anybody. I would get the business section of the newspapers every week and see all the events going on and make sure my berries were there as an auction item, or I attended the luncheon as a speaker. And I think I gave away more berries than I sold that first year, but they were like potato chips. I'd give them one and they'd come out for more, and I'd tell them how to get them. But I really had my work cut out for me because at that time, nobody had ever given a chocolate dipped strawberry as a gift before. This was 30 years ago. And thank you for asking earlier how old I was when I was started. I was 10 when I started my business. Nice season. Anyways, it was 30 years ago. And so I would just take the berries everywhere, and finally got my first store. I did it out of my home for the first couple of years and got my first store, and always used the profits to build my company. Never had any debt. Wow. I really enjoyed it and worked hard. And we grew it up to had 3 stores and a factory. And then that's when the internet came along and we did the national expansion.
Oh, wow. So you've been in business for quite a while at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what makes, obviously we can see, we can taste the quality, but, in your honest opinion, what makes your brand different than any other brand in the market today?
Quality. I mean, you can go, am I right? You can go to Walmart and buy a dress shirt, right? Men's dress shirt. You can also go to Nordstrom's and buy a men's dress shirt, right?
Yes.
But they're different. And most of it's based on quality and the customer service that backs it up. So we use very fresh berries, the largest berries that are available. It goes, I think the number one thing is the flavor and how it tastes. So if it's a big berry over a flavorful medium berry, we're going to go with a flavorful medium berry. And we dip it in a lot of real chocolate, real thick, and lots of coatings. And then they ship out that day. And we have specialty packaging, a lot of TLC. And then, things go wrong, FedEx is late or the person's not there, and we're easy to get a hold of. We take care of our customers and we back our products. And that's a huge difference.
That's really important. I remember when I was dealing with the other company and all stuff, and they had no idea how to, how to regulate everything. There's so many people exploding and everything. It's just like, what do we do? What do we do? Having that foundation underneath you, knowing how to react when something goes wrong, it is so important, especially for something that you do. You guys are directly impacting events, holidays, birthdays, etc.
Special occasions. People rely on us for really special occasions, their anniversary, maybe even, a lot of proposals, engagements and so forth like that, or, someone's ill. We take it very serious, and we do everything we can for everything to be just perfect. And then, those chocolate dipped strawberries, those were just my first idea. All my new funky things are also on, my new website, and we dip chocolate dip grapes, the whole clusters. You can tell somebody how grateful you are for them, or if it's for business, you can tell them to have a great day. And we do ship overnight nationwide all year round. And then my book, my Berried in Chocolate book, is also dipped in chocolate. So you can send somebody some chocolate covered passion and encouragement during these times. The book is, a dozen different lessons that I learned, and the reader can eat my chocolate and read the book at the same time. It's trademarked the first book in the world with calories because now it's dipped in chocolate. So that's a lot of fun. And just all our new stuff. We have our own wine label. We're up here in the Fairplay wine region. Today we have a bed and breakfast called Bed and Berries. And we're busy. People are up here escaping. And we don't have any masks or gloves. We're out in the wilderness, and we're the safest county in California. And it's beautiful. That's at bedandberries.com.
Complete opposite here.
Yeah, and then that supports my new ministry. I feel like I'm going to age myself because the first 50 years of my life, I felt like, being so driven, how much, I was trying to build up and create and build, save, put away, store. And now I just feel like this time in my life, God's really humbled me through, the suffering that I've done with losing my company and other things in my life. All three of my boys at one time or another shouldn't have lived, and just that heartbreak. But, when we go through that hardship, we become stronger, and that's when our character is built, and we learn the most during the difficult times in our life. And so anyways, my boys are all grown up and gone. We have this beautiful 10 acres out in the wine country, just full of serenity. A lot of people call it their happy place. And you can come up, and it's all remodeled, but people are able to stay in our boys' rooms to support my boys down in Mexico who don't have a bedroom. I have a ministry called at boysandberries.org, and I have families that are really suffering. This pandemic has been inconvenience for a lot of us, but when you're poor and you're living in Mexico and you're surviving and feeding your kids by, going through tourist junk in the dump, and now there's no tourism. Their kids are hungry, so anyways, just to, help families that are really less fortunate. And that's at boysandberries.org. And that when you stay here, the funds go down to support my kids in Mexico. So that's my new passion project. Right? Boysandberries.org. And it's for girls too, but it's a lot of fun. But it's all tax deductible, and you can donate directly, or you can contact me if you want to go down for a tour. Next time it's safe to go down, and it's precious. Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. This would definitely be something I would love to do once this whole travel restrictions up and everything. We should definitely do something like that. We could blog about it and do some incredible stuff with that. That'd be absolutely
cool. To go and experience that, see people living at the dump and helping their families, and one family at a time, to break that chain of no education, so the kids are getting education, getting to school so they can get out of the dump. But, you know, it really is an attitude adjustment. You come back really realizing how blessed we are and how much we have, and it recharges my batteries. So
your kids' teachers must have loved you.
Yeah, boys and I had a lot of traditions. I'd bring melted chocolate and a bunch of goo to dip with, you know, the last week of school. So they'd always fight over whose kid, you know, my class was in. And yeah, it's funny because my oldest son, Paxton, when he became a freshman in high school, all of a sudden he decided it was no longer cool for mom to come dip with the class. You know, it's kind of embarrassing. He didn't have me come. And then the next year he got so many complaints. Everybody's all, hey, man, where was your mom? You know? So when he was a sophomore, he goes, technically you owe me. So you have to dip in 2 classes his sophomore year because he had one to make up. So yeah, that was a fun tradition that we always did. Yeah. In fact, my son, Max, I'll talk about my youngest son, Max. He reminds me of you. He's very entrepreneurial. And he's doing real estate marketing, just launching a new startup business. He's a business student at Chico State, and he just won a grant competition there, kind of like a Shark Tank thing, where he submitted a presentation, video, PowerPoint with his voice background to put in a marketing with droids and accounts and marketing listings, so real estate agents can spend more time closing instead of, selling. And he's doing really well. So he kind of remind me of him, really.
It's amazing. I have to meet him sometime.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. My little entrepreneur.
Hey, he comes from one, so
yeah.
All right, well, with that being said, being the chocolate strawberry dip queen that you are, you have met some incredible people in your life. Is there anyone specific that really, really just stands out to you?
It's always fun. I started this thing years ago, and I'd go to a concert. I always take strawberries to see if I could get them backstage for whoever the artist was. And sometimes I get real lucky. My funnest one was with Ted Nugent. He was at a concert here and got him back there. And today, Ted is like one of my top supporters and one of my biggest customers. And then I've been on Whoopi Goldberg's radio show live in New York City. So just, everybody loves my berries. So everybody's my customer and everybody loves that. I'm a game show queen. So when Harry Friedman, the producer of Wheel of Fortune, turned out to be a customer, I got to go pretend like I was Vanna White and go to tapings of the show and pass out berries and give the berries away on the wheel. And that was a lot of fun. And got to cook with my wine with Guy Fieri up on stage. We're both alumni of the same little community college here in Sacramento that we support. And that was a lot of fun. And then one of my favorite artists is Toby Mac. Got to meet him backstage at a concert, and that was a thrill. I'm a huge fan of his. So yeah, and then NBA, I've met so many of the players. I've gotten to do radio shows with Grant on his show, and got to meet, Kevin Johnson was our mayor. He said he thought I was one of the most creative people in Sacramento, so I took advantage of that. And Christie and Bobby Jackson, and a lot of my kings.
So underrated.
Oh, I know. I love watching him play.
Like, he was like Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford, and all those people before they even existed. Like, he was the backup for Jason Williams and Mike Bibby, and like every time, like, he used to crush my Lakers.
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't for the I'll admit it, if it wasn't for the referees fixing it towards our favor and Robert Ory's 3,
yeah, thank you.
That year, because your team was so deep with Mike
yes.
Bibb, Christie, Peja Stoyakovich, Lottie Divac, Chris Webber.
Yeah.
Gerald Wallace was coming off the bench at that point, what people don't realize. Bobby Jackson. It was just
and then you combine that with the 6 guy with the loudest crowd in the NBA.
It's such a shame they become.
Yeah. But I believe Kevin Johnson saved our Sacramento Kings. They would not still be here. They've been gone to Seattle if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
He saved our Kings for us. I'll always be grateful for that. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Seattle for losing the Sonics, but
yeah, well, they can get a new startup team. They don't need my Kings. No way. Back off.
Definitely not. Definitely not. No, I mean the Kings have had some legends over the years. Obviously the Big O, Mr. Triple Double himself, Oscar Robertson was part of the Sacramento as well. So it's you had some very, very, very historical.
And we got your Vlade Divac. And, I did kind of notice something just last night. I would have never agreed to this interview if I would have known you were a Laker fan. That's like not even. I'm like a Laker hater. I mean, I feel bad about your Kobe Bryant and stuff, but gosh, dang it.
Hey, if it wasn't for Kobe Bryant, you wouldn't have had Vlade Divac.
Is that right?
Because Charlotte initially drafted Kobe, and then traded the Kobe pick over for Vlade Divac, which brought Vlade over to Charlotte. Then eventually Vlade went over to Sacramento.
Right. All right. Yeah. No, still don't like him. Sorry.
I have nothing but love for the Kings, though. Honestly, I was a very, very big Chris Webber fan growing up, and I love Chris Webber.
I love the competition between the two teams, and
I did too.
Love all that. Love torturing Phil Jackson with the cowbells.
I love Rick Alderman also. Nothing but love, respect for Rick Alderman. Rick Alderman was an amazing coach.
Yes.
He was an amazing coach.
Yeah. We've had some great coaches.
Oh yeah. Well,
too many of them, but.
Speaking of which, well, like I said, I know you had a lot of ups and downs in this business, and could you tell me, obviously this has definitely helped you shape yourself into being, becoming an author and the public speaker that you become. But, if there was anything you could tell yourself 20 years ago from now, as the person you are today, what would you tell yourself?
So going out 20 years, not going back?
Backwards. I'm sorry.
If I go back to 20 years ago?
Your younger self.
Oh, well, that just to trust myself more, don't feel like you got to bring in partners or, I believe in surrounding myself with lots of wisdom. It's good, a lot of times when we trying to figure out something to do, if we just say it out loud and talk to people about it, we almost figure it out for ourselves just because we hear ourselves talking about it. So just always surround myself with wisdom, but never discount my gut and trust myself and my choices more, not feel like I've got to lean on others more. I'll definitely never get into a partnership again. I always say, well, maybe someday I'd get in business with my mom, but even that's iffy. No partners, and just trust in yourself. And again, just never take mistakes or humbling experiences as a negative, because so much can come from our mistakes if we learn from them. So I've always been a risk taker, and I'm glad I followed that road. And usually the hardest road is never the easiest road to take.
For sure. And I mean, fortunately, at the same time, the hardest road is also what gets us to the creates prosperity. I was actually telling someone earlier today, diamonds are created from fire and pressure. Without the pressure and the fire itself, then we can't, could we really prosper the way we want to prosper? Could we really reach the grounds that we can really, that we are trying to reach? Because without struggle, could we appreciate success? And, I think this is something I would be, that we, that's very strong, that's a very strong opinion, something specific that's, we could gear towards any young entrepreneur specifically coming into this business, and, just being wary about your partnerships and being wary of who you work with specifically. And, that's really important to do your background and just understand. Luckily, unfortunately for you, you didn't have the internet to the palm of your hands at that particular point. So nowadays, be able to do every little bit of research. I remember back in the day, the Carnegie experience, the whole sales based off Dale Carnegie, and sales in the 80s and the 70s and everything, or 90s, etc. Before the internet really, really exploded, it was very, very strong on manipulation. And the difference between sales now and then is that now everything's based off of research now. Where in the 90s, example, I was going to take you out to a house, I give you a list, this is where we're going to go, and I'm going to sell you as much as I could. Whereas now people are very, very, people have knowledge, people know what they're looking for, people come to you with knowledge already. And if you make one subtle mistake, next thing you know, you're all over the internet, and it's just an absolute nightmare at that point.
Yes. Yes, it's important. I have a new intelligent, crazy Italian stepfather, and he recently told me a little tidbit of knowledge that helps when you're, you know, doing deals, no matter what kind of personal or business, and never get into anything unless you have a way out. Oh, you know, you just never know. So always enter into something with a planned way to get out. And that really takes a lot of the pressure off.
All right. I know we've touched base around this a couple of times. You've been a public speaker. How long have you been a public speaker for?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've been a public speaker for over 20 years, but the last 8 years, I've really bumped it up a notch. And now presentation is, I have a 45-minute modular talk, and then I adjust that depending on who my audience is, what the objective or theme is of the event, you know, or the meeting planner, because my story is so relatable that I can tie it in. I tell my heartfelt business story. I'm a storyteller, and there's a lot of humor involved. And then I bring them all crashing down with, you know, the great loss that I suffered, and then the lessons that I learned from that and how I came, you know, back out of that, you know, shining like gold as you go through that fire. And so there's a lot of different clips of everything from, you know, inspirational, motivational, women of faith groups and retreats, a lot of corporate. I'm the keynote at a lot of dinners. I travel internationally. I make sure everybody likes me right off the bat because everybody served my fresh chocolate dip strawberries right before I take the stage. I have a real fun 2-minute video bio that's on my website that you can watch that we play as everybody's enjoying their berries, and very interactive with the crowd. And I'm real raw around the edges. I'm not canned at all. Everybody, the number one compliment is they felt like I was talking directly to them. Very real, and lay it all out there. I'm an open book, and leave them very inspired. Inspire people a lot to just start. You know, a lot of people, we don't start something that we want to start because we're afraid or we don't know how, or in this day and age, you know, people are afraid someone's going to steal your idea. So, you know, one whole chapter on my book is just starting and having the courage to do that. You know, a famous hockey player, Wayne Gretzky, once said, you know, you're always going to miss 100% of the shots that you never take. So just try, just start, you know, get some business cards made at Vistaprint and do a little bit of trade and get your idea out there and just try it out. So don't be afraid, but, you know, do your homework. A lot of us, you know, we've always dreamed of having our own restaurant, but have you ever worked in a restaurant before? You know, owning a restaurant, talk about 24/7, you know, so do a boot camp out of it, you know, try it out, you know, test what you're trying to do and just try it small, and you can always make it bigger. And that's how I started Sharis Berries. I just took a concept, an idea, and took a dream. And, you know, when you add hard work to passion, anything's possible. And that's when dreams become reality. And that's what I encourage people from the stage.
I know coming from, it must have been so difficult to just, you know, rise back and like basically become the phoenix that you are today, rising out of ashes.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, just be able to tell your story the way you do, and just be able to have the courage to be able to tell that story. That takes a whole nother layer, I believe, personally. And, you know, just based on my personal experiences, what I've come up with, you know, I personally have come from and everything, I've noticed that, you know, it makes you stronger. It makes you the person that you become, but be able to use that background and turn it to like an inspirational piece and educate people. I got to ask you, what inspires you to tell your story to the world?
Well, I mean, it is hard. I mean, number one, just public speaking is hard. You know, on a survey of our greatest fears, most people, you know, are more afraid of public speaking than death. So they'd rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy, you know. And when I was in Los Angeles doing my mortgage business and marketing, I joined a leads group. And like every 3 months, it was my turn to stand up for 10 minutes and do a little, you know, ad on my mortgage business. And for a whole week, I'd be ruined, you know, feel like I was going to throw up, just horrible. And like anything else, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And I actually enjoy it now. I mean, I am a little anxious sometimes because I want to do a great job. and that's working out real well. And I just feel like, I just want to be a berry dipper. But again, I've been giving this platform to encourage others. And if I hadn't lost my berry business and learned all of those lessons and gone through that fire, my story would be really boring, because I'd be up there on the stage, all pretentious, all proud, telling everybody how easy this thing is and how great I am. But instead, everybody can relate to my story because we've all suffered great loss and we all live in a broken world. And yeah, I have a lot to share and a lot of passion to do it. And I stay after as long as I need to meet one-on-one with everybody and answer questions, and have my book available if anybody wants to, see my deep roots and my grassroots of how I took my passion and hobby and turned it into profits.
Wow. So I got to ask you, how nervous were you the first time?
I can't remember. I was about ready to pass out. Yeah, no. I've been doing it a lot. You start with the rotary and stuff, your heart's beating and got to have some water because you're nervous, got cotton mouth and trying to catch your breath a little bit. But I have affirmations that I tell myself, and everything we do, no matter what our work is, we need to enjoy it. And if I'm not enjoying it, I shouldn't be doing it. So I need to get up there and enjoy it. And then a scripture that I love is from 1 John, and that is, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. We're all the same. Nobody's better than me. We're all the same. And, we all have the same struggles, and we're all human beings. So the bigger the crowd, the better for me. I'm out in the audience. I'm not up behind a podium. And give away a lot of things, tell a lot of fun stories, and then just encourage them to follow their dreams. Just try. And then the other thing is forgiveness. We have to forgive and let go of past pains and people that have hurt us, bad situations. I heard this riddle that unforgiveness does more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than the object on which it is poured. You have to forgive in order to heal and move on, because otherwise you're just letting it to continue to be inside and hurt you. That person doesn't care. They've moved on. You're allowing them to keep hurting you unless you can forgive them and move on. You're not saying what they did was right or the situation was right, but you're freeing yourself from that. And that is really important. And that's another message to share.
I agree with that 100%. I've personally been in those situations, personal relationships that I've detached from, people who have told me that I couldn't accomplish what I've been trying, what I wanted to accomplish, and et cetera, et cetera. But then it was, when I first started in this business, I was, sitting in this whole mindset where I was like, I was very, very grudgy in that sense. And I was like, how dare you not think I can accomplish this, et cetera, et cetera. And it wasn't until maybe like 2 years ago when one day I just woke up realizing, I was like, you know what? You guys were right. If I stuck with that mentality and that person that I was at that particular point, then you guys would have been absolutely correct and I would have absolutely failed. But the problem is, the difference now is that I stopped, looking and searching for someone else's approval on what I'm trying to accomplish. And, just the self-belief in myself, that adversity that I've went through, specifically, and being able to forgive people that doubted you or wronged you in the past is a big, big step to taking that next level and just getting to that next point in your life. At least that's what I.
Yeah, my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, when I told him I was going to quit my job as a stockbroker to be a berry dipper, everybody thought I was cracking up. Everybody thought I was nuts. But you just got to trust in yourself. Believe in you and your intuition, and just try. Just start and just try, and you never know. You don't want to get to the end of your life with that "if I would have only" or "I should have,"
That
should have done this, or what if? And I don't want that. I want to at least try, and then you'll know if it doesn't work, and you move on.
That quote that you said earlier, by Wayne Gretzky, with the you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Actually, I've actually heard the same exact thing from Michael Jordan. So it's that it's a very common line itself. You got to take that chance sometimes. You got to be able to take the risk and be able to take that opportunity, because the thing is, once again, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And if you're not prepared for that opportunity, if you're not willing to take advantage of it, then what's the point of you being in that position to take it anyways?
Yeah, just like, with all this downtime that we've been experiencing, instead of just going to bed, put sheets over my head, think, well, what can I do? So we have this new acreage next door, so we've been improving it and doing some remodeling at the B&B. And so just taking one day at a time, doing what you can with what you have, not focusing on what you don't have or what you've lost, but what do you have, and do what you can today.
I love that. Absolutely love that. With that being said, do you have any upcoming plans? What's going on in Shari Fitzpatrick's world?
Well, we just built our new website that you have on the screen. I've come to learn that I have two separate customers. I have my chocolate customers that want to spend $40, and then I have my event planners. And with social media, I need them to carve that out. So I've carved the chocolate and my speaking career away from each other, though they're connected and they complement each other. And again, working on our property here and marketing my new bed and breakfast, and becoming an innkeeper and enjoying that. A lot of events have been postponed for a lot of us, that, conferences and events that I'm a speaker at. So I just want to encourage your audience, as things get booked again, consider me to be your speaker. You won't regret it. You'll love it. It'll be a great asset, and everybody will want to come because they'll get one of my strawberries. People do anything for a chocolate dip strawberry. I've learned that over the years.
What sure. We do is maybe sometime, if not this week, next week, or whenever it is, we could do, if you want, we could come back and do this again. And what we could do is, if you want to do like a short presentation, just show everyone what your event is all about and what your platform is all about. I would love to show it to the world.
Great.
I would love to show a lot of these entrepreneurs. I know a lot of real estate agents specifically will absolutely love your program, and just to see what it's all about.
Yes,
real estate's full of ups and downs, as you know, from the mortgage side. Nothing but ups and downs. There's no middle ground. Yes. Up and
down. I'm the keynote at a lot of speaking events for industries in finance and in real estate. That's just all, really touches home. And I used to go to the real estate agents and I'd bring them these baskets of chocolate dipped strawberries, and I was amazed how they would get so excited over these chocolate dipped strawberries, because it's not rocket science. You melt the chocolate, put the strawberry. They would just go nuts, and I get all this business. They were really happy. I was really happy. Simple concept, but it works, and you just be a little bit different than everybody else.
Oh yeah, you give someone a little taste. That chocolate covered strawberry itself, it's such a small, it's that little effort, that extra effort that someone has to take. But at the same time, like, I remember my first open house. I had an open house in New Providence. This is one of my first listings on Dirty Porter Place. And I ordered desserts for all of my first open houses. I have a personal baker. Shout out to Hope Casano, who is actually a local baker over here, who literally just bakes and delivers things to wherever I need to get delivered. Nice. But just simple ideas and stuff like that. I remember weeks later, I had a phone call from the agent that was representing the buyer. They're like, I wonder if you remember this person, but her daughter was eating all your cookies. So things, it's association. You're associating things to places itself. It's like the Property Brothers. I don't know if you ever seen the Property Brothers and how they show people really, really nice property and the really, really bad properties, and they'll show each property, but they won't call it by 123 Main Street. They'll call it the bunny house, the dog house, just to give that image and have that stick to your mind.
Yes. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah. You're doing an absolutely incredible job. I absolutely love this. Well, with that being said, this was awesome. I know we're hitting that 10-minute mark, so maybe we could wrap this up real quickly. But with that being said, today was such an incredible show. Shari, do you mind telling everybody where they can order from the real Shari?
From the real Shari. Well, you can go to berriedinchocolate.com. And even if you spell it correctly, it'll still come to us because we've got a little funky twist on the spelling. If you forget that, you can go to berries.us, and the US stands for use Shari. If you go to a website and you don't see anything about Shari on there, you're at the wrong place. But you can go to berries.us. Also at ShariFitzpatrick.com. There's a shopping link, and you can hit chocolate, and that'll take you over to my chocolate side. It also has my bed and breakfast. We do chocolate and wine tours. For our events that we speak at, we can also do a tasting of chocolate wine after I speak, and it's a lot of fun too. Something different. Everybody wants something different, and get a good turnout if you promise that little treat at the end.
Oh man, I'm gonna have so many ideas off of you. It's
yeah, and then at Bed and Berries, bedandberries.com is our bed and breakfast. If you'd like to come out to the Fairplay wine region, we're just above Sacramento and below South Shore Lake Tahoe in Northern California. We have 3 rooms, beautiful pool and jacuzzi and fire pit. We have 10 quiet acres with a hiking trail up to the edge of the river that's all granite, and a ravine there where people are climbing the granite. They come from all over. We have 70 beautiful wineries and vineyards here. It's at fairplaywine.com if you want to learn more about our wine. It's like the next little Napa up here. It's very intimate. You feel like you're in Italy for the day. It's lovely. Wow. And then if you'd like to support my kids, learn how to support my boysandberries.org ministry, you can go there. It's all tax deductible. And when you stay at my B&B, it supports my other B&B, which is my Boys and Berries ministry. That's my new passion project.
Wow, that's amazing. Shari, giving back to your community and just giving back. She's absolute sweetheart. Got an incredible heart. As a matter of fact, speaking of sweet deals,
yeah, hey, Father's Day is coming up. I'd be a horrible entrepreneur if we didn't mention Father's Day is coming up.
Exactly. Father's Day is right around the corner, and what are we giving away?
Yeah, let's do some Father's Day berries, chocolate dipped strawberries. And we've got 20% off of all orders at $49 or more till the end of the month at Berried in Chocolate. And so, dads like chocolate dipped strawberries too. A lot of guys don't like sweets. Some people, they're weird out there, don't like strawberries, but when you put the two combined, it's a whole different flavor. And the sweetness overrides the tartness of the berry, and vice versa. The fresh berry tones down the sweetness of the chocolate. And give them a try. And we've got our caramel apple wedges, best wedgie you'll ever have, and all my new funky things are on there as well.
I'm not a father, but you guys are more than welcome to take advantage of this 20% order and send me some chocolate.
There you go. Hey, it's good when you sell a house, you got to send those berries. They have a lot of agents. They sell a house and they send berries automatic.
Oh no, I'm definitely gonna be taking advantage of this for sure. I'm so happy that we met, and this is definitely a thing now because I'm gonna be a regular customer of yours every time we close the deal. It's so much fun. Actually, as a matter of fact, with realtors, I actually learned this recently. Realtors don't realize is that when you send out a gift, you can get a certain percentage. You get a certain percentage written off from taxes just based on what it is. But if you actually do something custom, example, if I was to send something from your website, Berried in Chocolate, plus no information, now it's an advertising gift,
right?
Where I could advertise it in a different way, and I could actually write that off for much more than I was going to write off a personal gift. So take advantage of this because you guys could really utilize this. I know there's a lot of you just follow my page right around the corner, so you guys should definitely take advantage of that. If you aren't already, what are you thinking?
Good. And we can drop in your paperwork too. So business cards or notes, we have them on file. And when you order, we drop in your business cards and so forth. So it's very custom.
That's amazing. Yep. So all you gotta do is just go to berriedbychocolate.com and in the promo section, enter original. Last thing, do you have anything else that you would like to add on?
No, I just hope everybody out there will find very sweet success, and always remember that making a living is not as important or the same as making a life. Life is short. Keep your priorities in the right order.
Awesome. Guys, you guys could definitely drop Shari a follow on Instagram as well. I actually just highlighted that on the little ticker below that's sliding at Shari Fitzpatrick. This was an amazing show. If you have any questions for either myself or Shari, definitely drop it into the comment box. and we will totally respond. And also, once again, definitely drop by berriedandchocolate.com to order some stuff for Father's Day. Go to ShariFitzpatrick.com to see some of her incredible speaking events. It's just absolutely amazing. She's super, super educational, incredibly inspiring, and I'm so blessed to be a part of her network. And this is once again just absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
I appreciate your support, Christopher.
No, anytime, guys. Drop her a follow. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Tune in soon.
Okay.
All right.